Hey all you cool sabers, today we're going to take a look at finding the equation of a line with 2 points, or given 2 points. Okay, so this is very similar to what we did last lesson. There's really only one extra step, and that's that we have to calculate the slope. And to do that, of course, I'm just going to put it here where there's some room. We're going to use our equation, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right. So basically, that's how we're going to do step 1. Step 2 is where it's just going to become the exact same as the previous lesson. We're going to substitute in the slope that we have. We're going to substitute a point into the equation. Now we have 2 points this time. It doesn't matter which one you sub in, you'll get the same answer. And then we solve for b and rewrite the equation. So sounds super easy, right? So let's jump over here. Let's take a look at our 2 points. So I'm going to start by labeling these. And whenever you're using the slope equation, I do highly recommend you do this just as a way of making sure you don't mess up. Okay, that's an x, that's a y, that's an x, and that's a y. We say this is our first point, and this is our second point. So now we have an x1, a y1, an x2, and a y2. So we're all ready to use the equation. Sorry, I'm sure that I make you guys motion sick with these videos sometimes, but you'll be fine. All right. So there is our formula, and you can just match it up with what we just labeled. So you look at that and you say, well, my y2 was equal to -3, and my y1 was equal to 5. And on the bottom, we'll have x2, which if you look was -5. Excuse me. And my x1 was equal to 3, so we'll have -3. All right. So from that, we'll have -8 over -8. And of course, anything divided by itself is equal to +1. All right. Don't make the easy mistake of saying -1. Remember, if you've got a negative over a negative, it gives you a positive. So that's first step. That's all the new stuff. Now we're just back to exactly what we did last time. We just say y equals mx. Oh, wow. Sometimes this tablet just has a mind of its own. I don't even know what it's doing. So anyway, we say y equals mx plus b. So we calculated m, and we found that it equaled 1. So we'll have 1x plus b. Of course, we don't usually write that 1. So in the next step, I'm going to write it just so you understand what we're doing, but we're going to sub in a point. Now you can sub in either a point, either point A or point B. It does not matter, okay? What I would recommend is looking at the points and deciding which one looks easier. In this case, point 1 is positive and point 2 is negative. So we're going to use point 1, which means we'll use y1 there. And then for x, we'll have x1, which was 3. All right, and now we just have to solve for b. So we say 1 times 3 is equal to 3. So we get 5 equals 3 plus b, and this is where I really want to emphasize, don't be afraid to use your brain and skip this next step, okay? I'm going to move the 3 over and say that 5 minus 3 equals b, but you could just look at that and say, well, 5 is equal to 3 plus what? And so obviously the answer is 2. All right, so now we have b. So all we have to do now is we have to say, therefore, y equals, it would be 1x, but I'm not going to write the 1 this time because we don't usually do that. That's considered poor form. And we say plus 2. And that's it. All right. So let's jump over to example number 2. And we'll do it again. Because why not, right? All right, we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to zoom in on these guys again. And I'm going to do the exact same thing where I say this is x, this is y, this is x, this is y, this is point 1, this is point 2, and now using the equation will be super duper simple. Okay? So we write out our equation. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, and we just sub in the numbers. So we'll have -5 minus 5 over, let's see, we had 5 minus negative 4. Okay. This is where people will often make mistakes, is because we have this double negative thing going on here. So don't let that scare you. Just remember that you have to have both those negatives. Okay. And of course, we can simplify that. We can say that that's the same as having minus 5 over 5 plus 4. All right. Which gives us negative 10 over 9. All right. So that's that. We've got our m. So now we got to find our b. So once again, we say y equals mx plus b. And we will sub in a point. And it does not matter which point you use, of course. I'm going to sub in, let's see, I'm doing negative 4, 5. So I guess that was the first point. So I'm going to say that's equal to 5. My slope we just found was equal to negative 10 over 9. And my x is equal to negative 4. Okay. So we do the multiplication. We say negative 10 times negative 4 is equal to, whoops, getting ahead of myself. We got a negative times a negative, so it's going to give us positive 40 over 9. It is worth mentioning here, work with the fractions. Don't use decimals, because you're gonna get the wrong answer. Just use the fractions. Fractions will be better. They may not seem like it, but they are. Okay. Especially once you get better at using them, they're actually way easier. So we'll have 5 minus 40 over 9, and I'll actually show you how I do the fractions this time, because I'm going to change 5 into, I want to have a denominator of 9. So I want to say what over 9 would be equal to 5, so it's going to be 45. Okay, minus 40 over 9 equals b. So now we just have to subtract 40 over 9 from 45 over 9. So b is going to equal 5 over 9. All right, and that's all the hard work. So now we just have to sub it into our equation. So we say y is equal to, we have negative 10 over 9 x. I guess I can make that look like a real x. And then we add b, which was 5 over 9. And that's it. That's all there is to it. So until next time, go Sabres.